That's the song Guadalajara, and I am focusing on the Vicente Fernandez version. This song has been done by many people. It was written by Pepe Quisar.
Yep.
I'm going to pronounce it that way. It says written and composed by Pepe Quisar in 1937. Wrote the song in honor of his hometown. So, yes, Guadalajara is a city in Jalisco, Mexico. Jalisco is where my dad's from. My dad's from Ocotlan in Jalisco. How far away is that from Guadalajara? I'm not sure. I think it's not too far. Definitely drivable because I've done it. So it's not too far. But so I've been to Guadalajara. I've seen it. I've heard this song my whole life. I say whole life because I probably heard it when I was an infant and didn't even remember. But Vicente Fernandez was also my first concert.
Okay.
My very, very first concert. And I think I was probably 4. I was really little. And it was at a huge... Okay, I was like 4. So memory could be not quite, but I remember that it was a huge venue. I remember that my brother and my dad had to go back to the car because when you went in, you had to go through metal detectors and they both had pocket knives.
Oh,
so I remember that they had to go back and put those back in the car and then come back in. I remember there being horses.
yeah.
Which I feel like is right because for Vicente Fernandez shows, my mom tells me that Alejandro Fernandez was there. So that's Vicente Fernandez's son. So it was like a father-son tour, which is also common. So I remember parts of it, but that was my first concert experience. This song, I've also heard my dad sing this song. He has a great voice, by the way. I like hearing him sing. He doesn't sing too often. So my dad is like... I don't know, late 60s. So let's see, the song came out in the 30s. So he's had it around his whole life too. And he likes the song. I've heard it sang at weddings. I've heard it sang at birthday parties. I've heard it sang at family events. It's just kind of an integral part of life, I suppose, for me. But also, Matt, as I was researching the song, I didn't know that Elvis Presley he sang it, and also Nat Cole.
Yeah.
He sang it. Both versions I really liked. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked Nat King Cole's better than Elvis's. Elvis was good, okay, but when you listen to Elvis's version, it sounds like he's trying to sing opera.
Yeah.
It sounds very like he's singing and pronouncing the Spanish in a very Italian way. So it sounds like he's like singing opera music, and Nat King Cole sang it with a little bit more, I don't know, like authenticity. So I liked his version a lot. A lot of people cover this. But anyway, the lyrics, Matt and I have both looked at the lyrics in Spanish and English. When you were saying Hermosa, I was looking back through. I'm like, where's that even at in the song?
Towards the end.
Oh, beautiful Guadalajara. Yeah. So if you look at the lyrics, I mean, it's just like so much love for his city, but he talks about the culture, he talks about the people, he talks about, I guess, the vibes, as the kids would say. There's mentions of just what it means to him, what it feels like to be there. He talks about the birria. There, I'm going to try to roll that R a little bit. Now, birria is it's meat. It's usually goat. So it's kind of like a big dish in Jalisco, particularly Jalisco. It's like a stewed meat. It's usually goat.
Yeah.
Sometimes they make it with beef, but my dad loves that. He loves it. I think it's his favorite food. He's obsessed with it. He likes goat. I don't like goat. I don't like anything with goat. I don't like goat cheese. I don't like goat meat. And every time of my entire existence of my life, he always offers it to me. He's always like, Anna, don't you want birria? Oh, Anna, you gotta try this cheese. It's the best cheese. And I'm like, Dad, is it goat? Well, yeah, it's goat. But he acts like every time like it's like something new to me. Like, oh, this, and sometimes I will try it because every once in a while, like I'll never just like completely turn something down.
Yeah.
I'll eat a little bit of it, but I'm not gonna go off on my own and order goats. Have you had goat meat, Matt?
I was just thinking about it. I don't think I have. I've had lamb, so maybe that'll be next up on my list.
It's similar. Do you like lamb?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, dude, you'd probably like goats.
Oh, sorry, go.
You'd like goats, man. You'd probably like birria. Usually, so it's kind of like soupy, okay?
Mm.
But you get the meat, and then my dad just makes it into tacos. You just eat, or you could just get the tacos straight.
Yeah.
Birria tacos. I don't know. He's just obsessed. So I got it for him for his birthday. Anytime he comes up here, there's a place by me that he likes to get it at, so he'll get it. But my dad loves Mexico. He loves Mexico. It's just a huge part of his life. I think if he could be living there right now, he would. His life in Mexico was not bad. He didn't have. Okay, I'm not going to say he didn't have a tragic story because that's a complete lie. It was awful.
I remember.
Yeah. But he wasn't living in poverty. So, like, yes, there was, death and murder and all kinds of, things.
I thought you were going to say it.
Yeah, help form a person.
Yeah.
But to him, it's like the way he talks about it is just like, the beauty of where he lived. And I don't know, every time he's talked about Mexico ever since I was a kid, it just made me think of like the Wild West. Like, well, first of all, in the sense that there's no like law just out there. Everybody's every man for themselves, and you take care of your family. And even as a kid, I didn't even think that there were police in Mexico. I didn't think that was part of it. Like, I just literally in my mind envisioned just the Wild West. Because there's as a kid, it's like when I hear him talk about it, I hear horses, I hear guns, I hear, this and that. And so I'm just thinking like, you just living life out there, it's you versus everybody else. So yeah, that's why everyone's so family oriented, community oriented, because you guys all got to protect each other and take care of each other. And my dad grew up on a ranch. So music is a huge part of his life too. He loves ranchero music. That's his music, which is it's similar to mariachi, but I don't know, it's a little different. It's more like closer to like country music. It's like our country music. So I've heard that my whole life, not just Vicente Fernández, but the other artists that my dad listens to. I've heard it my whole life, and he loves to sing while he's listening to music. I mean, when iTunes came out and like iPods, that was what we used to call them. iPods came out. He wanted one too. And he had me like fill his iPod, which is tons of ranchero music, a little bit of Johnny Cash, a little Billy Willie Nelson. That's about as far as he goes with English music. He likes Johnny Cash a lot, but so I'd fill that up. And I mean, he listens to music probably as much as I do, to be honest. And he's always researching, like looking up music. He looks up YouTube videos of music. He likes concerts. Him and my mom went to see Santana before COVID. So I don't know. I think I kind of get some of my love of music from him. My mom likes music a lot too. She likes like Journey. She likes concerts, but he's the one that I know is just always listening and always researching. Where my mom likes to listen to music to like enjoy it. She likes to listen to music to clean. Music is sort of a background thing, right? Yeah. She'll enjoy concerts, but she likes the background of it. Where my dad's more active, like, what is Vicente Fernandez's new album out? I want to hear that, more research oriented. So yeah, so I picked the song just because it completely reminds me of him. It reminds me of Mexico. I like thinking of Mexico because I've seen where my dad grew up. I've been to his house. I've been to the ranch. I've, met my family. So I've experienced a little bit of it myself. And I thought it was beautiful, but I think what was most meaningful is seeing how happy my dad was when he's there, or how he is when he's there. Happy, confident, just at home, So yeah, he had a good experience growing up in Mexico for the most part. All right, Matt. Yeah, we'll leave out all of the horrible traumas that seem to have not affected him at all. No. I think by this time in his life, I'm not even going to say seem, they did not affect him at all. No impact, zero impact.
Or they were fully resolved prior to your birth.
Yeah, or maybe resolved early on. I don't know. And he only came to the U.S. I don't know if I've told you this, but he came to the U.S. because he wanted to buy a truck. Okay, because his oldest brother was like the head of the family at that time. because his dad had passed away. So he wanted the truck. His brother wouldn't buy him the truck. So him and his other brother, who's just a little old, who's closer in age, was like, all right, we're going to leave then. We're going to go get one in the US because we can do whatever we want. And back then it was not hard to cross the border legally.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal like in the 70s. So so my dad was like really easily got his paperwork and came over and came up to Chicago because his sister was already in Chicago. He got, I don't know if he even ever bought the truck. But anyway, when he got up here, he went on a double date because I don't know if it was his brother or cousin. No, I don't think it was his brother. I think it was like one of his cousins wanted to date one of my mom's cousins. And so they wanted to do a double date. And so they did. And that's how my mom and dad met. And my mom said she thought that my dad was like, he put too much grease in his hair. She was like, he's too focused on his hair. And then they went out, and my mom's Spanish was good. I don't think it was perfect.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. And they had their first date, and then he was supposed to leave, I think, like the next week. And then he decided to stay, and then they went on a second date. And then he was supposed to leave after that. And then they like went on another date. And then 6 months later, he was still there. And he asked her to be his girlfriend. My mom's Spanish, like I said, wasn't great. She thought he had proposed.
Oh.
And her Spanish was not good. And so she thought he was asking her to be his girlfriend. And she said, yeah, because she's like, I thought we were already dating. Like, I thought I was your girlfriend, you know? And so she said, like, yes. And then she said when she got home, because her cousin was in the car with them, she got home and her cousin was like, oh my God, aren't you so excited? Like, you guys are getting married. And my mom was like, wait, what? No, I'm not. We're not getting married. What? She's like, you don't understand. That's what he asked you in the car. And you said, yeah. And my mom's like, no. I did not say yes. She's like, I thought he asked if we were dating. And I said, yeah, we're dating. Oh my gosh. And then they ended up getting married anyway. So.
Both of those stories sound like two sides of who I know you as. Your dad just deciding, I'm just going to go get a truck in America. That sounds like you. And then the reactiveness of not realizing, like, holy shit, this is a whole big thing. That reminds me of you from your mom. Those two stories remind me of you as who I know you as.
Oh man, that's exactly how I live my life. I make huge life decisions in like 0 seconds. I'm just like, with no thought. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do it. And then that's it. Like, okay, I'm doing it now. And then later, like years later, I'll be like, oh wow, I really signed myself up for a lot, but whatever. It's what it is. Yeah, I do like to make decisions like that. My dad and I are very, very similar. I think whatever qualities that he has, or however it was that he is able to like be super friendly, functional human that's just living life as if he's never experienced any type of trauma because it's just zero effect. I don't know. Some of that had to pass on to me because I feel like that's part of how I can be a good therapist. It just not, I don't know, like you might be able to help me out here, but it's like, recognizing things as they happen, being empathetic, but then not sponging it all in, it's like
rational.
This happened. I like to talk about it. I like to process it. I like to talk about things way more than my dad does.
Yeah.
But he's also not opposed to talking about anything. He will. And he does like talking too. He'll talk to his brothers and sisters forever. But, he also loves gossip. Just like me.
So I'm not going to get into this conversation too much, but I think we all know men love gossip. Men just don't want to actively speak on liking gossip because it makes us seem less masculine, but we all do it. Let's just, that's as far as I'm going to go. Sorry, men who might get mad at me, call me like beta male or cuck. It's the truth, bro. It's the truth.
It's true. Because my brother likes gossip too. But my dad's the worst though, because he'll tell. My mom always be like, because I'll like tell my mom something and I know she's going to tell my dad because they're like best buddies. But I'm always like, oh, you tell dad not to tell people. Because he's like, he just tells people right away. He doesn't think about it. He loves the gossip. But So yeah, I don't know. We're very similar. I think we both handle anger the same way. It's kind of like a really slow buildup, but it can be like explosive.
Yeah.
I've never really seen my dad mad. I would say maybe like, geez, probably maybe two times in my life have I seen him like actually get angry and like raise his voice, but it's like such a short spurt, and then he's like kind of talking. He's talking or he'll like walk outside and then like when he's like talking about it. I've never seen anything bad. He's never gotten mad at me. In my entire life, I've never seen him be angry with me. So, really, and like the way he talks about me when I was a baby too. He's like, yeah. He's like, you were a really good baby. You never cried. You never threw tantrums. You never did any. And I'm always like, is that just his perception? But my mom says the same thing though. So because of my brother, which I've mentioned in the Mother's Day episode, my brother was like that third parent. So my mom says it's like you had three parents at like all times. So you never needed anything or wanted anything. You were just constantly being taken. So there was no reason for you to cry or like throw a tantrum about anything. The only thing I wish that my dad and I could do more is I wish I could speak Spanish. I wish I could speak Spanish, but he didn't teach me. My mom didn't teach me. They focused on like building his English up. Mm-hmm. His English is good. I mean, he's been here for 45 years, but I just think he's just never really. It's been the same. I swear to you, Matt. It's been the same my whole life. There's been zero improvement. He still like does not care about like gender pronouns.
Yeah.
They don't exist to him. So he's been way ahead of everyone else for years.
What do you
like? He doesn't use them correctly, or he could be referring to my brother, but he'll be like, oh, and then she said this, or he doesn't, it's just not a thing that he thinks about. Or he'll just say like it or they. Like I said, he's ahead of the times. He just skips them.
Yes. I remember when the whole pronoun thing started to really, really become more of a conversation. Not when it hit its height, but when it started to become a conversation. And I would just default to they, them, their, all that. I don't know what's going on. I can tell something's changing, but you're not getting me. I'm not up in this conversation anymore.
Yeah, I know. I never want to mess up. So I try to do the same thing, but I'm thinking like my dad was ahead of all of this way before.
They should build a statue of him for all of the civil rights issues having to do with like sexuality. He can be at the forefront. This was the guy. He started it all.
He did. He's always been that way. He also, I mean, he does, like you were talking about, he translates everything in his head, but sometimes he just doesn't care. So we drove past the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yeah.
And so we drive past which clearly says on there, the Cheesecake Factory. And then my dad looks at it and he says, oh, it's cheese and cake. And I was like, okay. He's like, we can go to the cheese and cake after we eat. And I'm like, all right, Dad. I'm like, so I feel like he just doesn't, he's like, I'm not even gonna read all that. He's like, I see 2 words there, whatever.
But that's the funny part, because he made it longer.
Yeah.
Cheese and cake.
It's the cheese and cake. Well, there's no cake. Well, there might be cake there. There's probably cake there, but cheese and cake are separate entities, but he was still excited about it. So
I want to call it that now, the Cheese and Cake Factory.
Yeah, cheese and cake.
Sorry for all the potential single women out there. If I go out on a date with you and you recommend that, oh, the Cheese and Cake Factory? What? Exactly.
It is a cheese and cake factory. It just makes sense. But yeah, my dad, if I had to like sum up what kind of father he is, I would say he's very real. I don't know. Like, I feel like I could talk to him about anything if I really needed to. Mm-hmm. He's laid back. He doesn't get emotional about things. At least in any conversation I've ever had with him. Not emotional, just very logical. I think he's always thinking about me, to a fault of like, what's best for me out of any type of situation where I'm kind of like, no, maybe we kind of have to think about other people in this scenario. Yeah. No, that doesn't exist to him. So I would say that's how he's just very real. His advice for me, and I think I mentioned this in another episode for dating, was like, oh, before you start dating, you need to have your own house and your own car. Yeah. And you don't you don't need to rely on anybody else. Like, don't rely on anybody else. He's also said, like, family is number one. Family is who you can trust. You know, boyfriends, girlfriends come and go. Family is number one. That's always been instilled in me. Now that I'm married, it's like, you know, he considers my husband my family now and part of his family as well.
Yeah.
I think he does see my husband as another son. I think he does. He really enjoys being around Patrick. I know Patrick likes being around him. So I'd say my dad's very welcoming as well. But it's like, once you're in the circle, you know, like, once you're in, then you're in, you know, no matter what. Doesn't matter who you are, whatever. Once you're in, you know?
Yeah.
But prior to that, it's just kind of like, I don't know who you are.
I understand that completely. I feel like it's not how I default in my life when it comes to relationships at times. Like, I know when I used to be at like certain jobs, it would be easy to establish like a group within that job. But then when you get a new person in your department or your team, it's like, we'll see.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
But he's always been supportive. I wish that we could communicate more, but I just feel like, you know, he's always been there for me, and I like being around him because everyone I know likes being around him. All my friends have always liked being around him. People like his cooking. He's a good cook. He likes cooking. He likes food. He likes Mexican food. That's all he makes, Matt. That's all he makes, dude. I'd always be like, can I have a hamburger? You don't eat hamburgers. You can make tacos. But yeah, people like his food. He's just kind of chill, kind of quiet. But yeah, the song I picked definitely makes me think of him. Is always going to make me think of him. It's always going to make me think of my family. And yeah, of Mexico. I mean, it is a beautiful country. I enjoyed visiting. I'd like to go again. Yeah, and Vicente Fernández is like super old.
How old is he?
I have no idea, but he's got to be ancient. He's going to be like 90 something. I would think.
He was born in 1940.
Oh, he's definitely older than my dad.
He's 81 years old.
81? Okay, he's actually younger than I thought. I think my aunt is actually older than him. So, yeah, he's not that old. Alejandro Fernández must not be too old either.
Who?
His son, Alejandro. His
son is 50 years old.
That man is, I'm married, so I'm not going to talk about it. but most women love Alejandro Fernández. I'm just going to say that.
Except her.
Yeah, except me. I don't like him. Whatever. He's average.
He's horrible.
He's average.
He's disgusting.
Completely average. But so that's me, Matt.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, for myself with the song, again, hard for me to really do what I normally do. I didn't really think how much of a language barrier would impede my ability to really get into a song, but it happens. I feel like we all have our intricacies when it comes to content we try to absorb. I did like the overall energy of the song itself, not too down. For me, it seemed like a very like upbeat tempo. The lyrics in itself, I kind of got the message that it was more so of a tribute song to this area that he really has a lot of love and respect for and admiration. What I really liked about this song in the segment that you did was just how I could just tell how much effort you put into thinking about this song as a selection, and also how much of a connection you and your dad have. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's a song. It's definitely a song that, like I said, is always going to be meaningful. For me, it's always going to make me think of him, especially thinking of him singing it. If I can find that, I'll upload that to YouTube. I'm going to have Patrick work on it because you got to get my uncle is like trying to sing over him. They have a whole thing. I don't want to talk about it. But my uncle's also like 90, so it's just, you just like ignore it. But anyway, if I can get Patrick to take out his voice trying to sing over my dad, I'll upload that on YouTube.
You sing.
Can I sing? No. Me and my mom cannot sing. We don't have any tone, whatever, at all.
We'll see. We should have a special episode.
Oh my gosh, no. It's so bad. I'm so bad. I'm hoping that maybe my future children will be able to sing, maybe like my dad. Maybe my little niece. She loves singing. She makes up her own songs, which I think is pretty good for 2. Or no, now she's 3. But anyway, she makes up the lyrics. We're like, whoa.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So.
All right. Now it's my go. I need to be more mindful and actually think of songs that I would probably want to use to tribute my parents. I just find like very good songs having to do with these holidays. With this one in particular, so I was thinking to myself, all right, well, what's a dad song that I can go with? And could have went with Eminem, but nah, I didn't want to. So I went with Nas. Nas's daughter's song